Hey guys, welcome to the channel. My name is Garrett, and if this is your first time stopping by the channel, subscribe today if you're interested in getting a brand new Wagoneer video in your YouTube feed every Sunday evening. With that being said, give the video a like and let's get started. So I've had my 1986 Jeep Grand Wagoneer for about a year and 2 or 3 months now, and it's been a pretty exciting ride ever since I brought it home. Now it does have its fair share of mechanical problems, along with a couple electrical shortages that I've dealt with, along with a very overwhelming bodywork restoration that it oh so desperately needs. So today I wanted to talk about one thing that I've noticed while I've been restoring my 86 Jeep, and that is the fact that I think this Jeep has been in an accident at one point in its life. I thought this would be kind of a cool and interesting video to make, just to point out all of the little things that I found here and there that kind of add up to, well, this thing has been in an accident. As old as this car is, it has a lot of history to it, and the fact that I found quite a few things that add up to me thinking it's been in an accident, it makes me want to know the full history of how this came to be. Because of how old the vehicle is, when I was going to buy the vehicle last year, I didn't even bother to check the Carfax because this is a vintage vehicle. To run down the quick Carfax history that I found, this vehicle came from New York. When I bought the truck last year, it did have a sticker on the back tailgate. It read Glen Cove. I think it said New York on it, but with that little bit of information that was on the back, on the tailgate, and along with a sticker in the door jamb up on the driver's side door, they both read Glen Cove. Obviously, the truck came from New York, and on the Carfax, it did come from New York, and it made its way into Michigan, which is where I live right now, but on the other side of the state. It made its way over there in 1993, and it kind of stuck around there ever since. And it's really cool to find out that, according to the Carfax, I am the 10th owner of this 1986 Grand Wagoneer. That's crazy. That's crazy. So being the 10th owner of this Grand Wagoneer, it was bound that I was to find some really weird or just hack-ass crap found on this Jeep. So let's just walk through it real quick and let me point out all the things that I've noticed on this Jeep. First up, as you can see on the Jeep, it doesn't have any wood, despite this fender right here. The other side, I've done some body work to it, and I'll show you that here later, but as you can see, for the most part, the Jeep has no wood. During my time of taking the wood off last winter, I did discover something that was kind of interesting and piqued my curiosity, and that was when I was taking the wood trim off of the Grand Wagoneer, I did discover that the adhesive on this fender is white. So right here, this is where the wood trim ran. The reason why I was curious about this is because the whole rest of the Jeep, on the outside, the trim, the adhesive is black, or it might have been gray. So it was different on this fender, and this is the only body panel that had adhesive that was white in color. So that was pretty interesting to find out, and it kind of piqued my curiosity. Why is it white on this side, and the rest of them, why is it black? So finding out that the adhesive was white made me think that this vehicle was an accident or some type of small front-end collision, and it made me believe that this fender was replaced at one point in its life. Another thing I noticed on this same exact fender is this is the weakest fender out of the two that I have on the Jeep. As you can see right here, it's got rust holes, not 1, not 2, not 3. Actually, it's just, it's got 3. Oh, wait, it's got 4. 4 little rust holes, and as you can see, it's been hit in right here, and then the structural integrity of it is just pretty weak. See how loose this is down here? And that leads me to the next thing. When I was taking off my front bumper last winter, I did find out that there is supposed to be some sort of bar that runs from the bottom of this fender down to the bumper, just so it doesn't wiggle around. It has a little bit of structure to it, but that's not the case. So that made me think, with the different colored adhesive and just how weak this fender is, and yeah, it just made me think that this fender was replaced at one point in its life. And another thing was the inner wheel housing up in the engine bay. Rust. Got some pretty bad rust. And then if we compare it to the other side. Alright, got the flashlight on. Let's compare it to the other side. Other side. Like nearly perfect condition. Rust falls. But as you can see, the driver's side fender, it looks pretty good. It's got one little knock right here, but it's not nearly as weak as the other side. And then if we come down here and I tap on the bottom right here, it's not even moving. Nice and solid. It's just connected to the upper portion of the engine bay. Not sure exactly what you could call it, but as you can see, it runs from the bottom right here of the fender up to this housing. So far we have the different colored adhesive, we have the weak fender, we have the rust up top and the inner wheel housing in the engine bay. And then the next thing I'm going to talk about is the front bumper. When I was taking the front bumper off last winter, I did notice that one side had two different colored bolts compared to the other side. The one side that had the two different colored bolts, they were new, they were shiny, they were years ahead of the other bolts that were found on the other side of the bumper. Which made me think, did this Jeep get a new bumper at one point in its life? With those four things I just talked about, I gotta say, wait, there's more. I'm not done yet! One more thing. Or is there two or three? Let's see. So when I got my Grand Wagoneer last fall, in the wintertime I started to do a little bit of body work, chip at it away a little bit each day, and I started with the hood. It was one of the first things I did. Up top, I grinded and filled some small dents, and then I ended up priming the whole thing. I really plan to redo all the bodywork on it someday, because I really would like to give it a real restoration. So definitely subscribe if you're not subscribed, because I'll have this Jeep for many years to come, and I want to get it looking and driving as it should. But with that being said, the bodywork. I did some bodywork on the hood and discovered a couple runs up in the front of the hood. I believe I have some pictures. I'll display them here if I do. Which leads me to another thing. Do you recognize something that's missing? Something that goes right here? If you said hood ornament, yes, where is it? Is nowhere to be found. This Jeep, when I bought it, did not come with a hood ornament. And if you know the answer to this question, please comment it down below. I still don't have an answer to the question, and the question is, the hood ornaments that come on the Grand Wagoneers, are they held on by adhesive, or are they held on by nuts and bolts and a hole or two? Comment that down below. I'd love to hear it. So there are no holes, no sign of a emblem being held on right here. Which leads me to another thing that was different. When I bought the Jeep, it had a different grill on it. It had the pig nose grill that came on the previous model Wagoneers before the 86 got the new grill and the revamped door panels and the new dashboard. it had the older style grill, and that was one of the first things that I noticed when I was going to check out this Wagoneer that was for sale at the time. I asked the owner, and he didn't know what the reason was behind that, and it just kind of left me puzzling since day number one. But hey, I went and bought it anyways. And it's actually one of the first things that I did to this Wagoneer. I just happened to find a final grill on Facebook Marketplace. Paid about 200 bucks for it. Makes it look a little bit better in my opinion, since my whole goal of this Jeep is to keep it looking the way it did when it rolled off the line in 1986. Pop this hood back open and let me show you another thing that I noticed while digging into this 86 Jeep.
Heavy hood.
So here's the monster AMC 360 V8. I just wanted to show it real quick because it's just such a beast of an engine. But anyways, so obviously the truck is red, right? Yes. Okay. But as you can see right here, I started to clean it. Red, red, red. Oh, what's this? It turns blue. Ah, interesting. And look, the paint has even peeled and chipped off. Pretty interesting, right? Which leads me to believe this hood was replaced. If the emblem was held on by two holes up top, which I really don't know if it is or not, and then the different color hood underneath, along with this fender being so weak and just flimsy, it makes me think that this Jeep was in an accident. So there's a few things, more than 5 things, that I discovered while digging into this Jeep. Another thing, one more thing that I can point out right now. See the cowl right here? Do you see this part? Cowl looks like it's been either replaced or just painted. I'm not sure which of the two. Obviously you can see right here that this cowl, it might not have been replaced, but it was definitely painted at one point in its life because somebody put some tape right here for whatever reason, and there's this tape line right here. So there's another thing, and one more to add on top of that. I bet you see this line right here. You're wondering, what is it? Well, if I duck down a little bit right here and kind of move the camera back and forth, ooh, see that right there? A little bit of run in the clear. It's really interesting just to uncover all of these things, and I'm not hating on this Jeep at all. I absolutely love every imperfection on this thing. But it's just so cool to discover these things and just to be so curious about the history. And also right here as well. Alright, I promise I am all finished with all the things I have found during my little restoration on the 86 Jeep. I think I covered everything, all except one, which I'm going to tell you right now, and then I'm going to go and I'm going to be done. When I got the Jeep, it had no air filter housing, and it's also missing a small hose that goes from the oil cap into the into the air filter housing. So that's one thing that I missed. And now I am all set Comment down below what you think about all the things I said. Was the Jeep in an accident a small little head-on front collision? What do you think? Comment down below. I think it's so interesting just to know the history of this Jeep, and I wish I could get every single little detail about it. It just piques my curiosity. I love it. But anyways, give the video a like if you liked it. Come back next Sunday for another Wagoneer video. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to watch the video, and I'll catch you next time. Take care. It's also got aftermarket wheels if you want to count that. No stock wheels to be found here.